Hello, everyone. Oh my gosh, I pray that you can all see me and hear me okay. The guy at the front desk warned me about that they just switched the internet here. So we'll see how this goes. I pray you all can hear and see me. This is going to be really awesome. This is the Billionaire Mindset call. If you guys are not familiar with this call, this is the call where you hop on and you grow so that you can grow your team and your business, right? So lots of times we've talked about the power of the subconscious mind. Hopefully you are all reading that and totally rereading it again and again. And which is really amazing, you guys, if you're reading it, raise your hand if you're reading it. If you haven't got it yet, my question is why not? Why not? Can I just be frank with you guys on these billionaire mindset calls? If you want me to help you to win, I've got to be able to be honest. And so, what's interesting is I've just literally told Scott in the last year, if you've been in my house, and I'm just going to be really honest and vulnerable with you.
That's amazing.
In the last year, I've actually said to Scott,
That's
the power of the
I hear
subconscious
you.
mind, once you realize the power of the subconscious mind, you start asking
No.
yourself things like, well, if, we can use our brain to basically be hypnotized. How many of you know there's hypnotism going on? I mean, I remember high school graduation and prom parties where they'd have a hypnotist come in, right? And then kids would think that they're like cold, right? So they'd be putting all these clothes on and they'd be curling in a ball on the stage. You guys know what I'm talking about, right? And so I've always been really fascinated with the mind. And more recently, I've been really fascinated with, hey, if hypnotism is real, why can't we just have hypnotize people for their health? Why can't we hypnotize people for the success? And Scott goes, well, that's what the mainstream media has done for 50 years. Look at the television. They haven't hypnotized people for health. They've hypnotized people for sickness, right? With the pharmaceutical commercials. Do you guys realize that the hypnotism has been going on the whole dang time and you haven't had the power, right? They've actually been taking the power away from you physically with your health and financially with your wealth. Do you guys realize this? Is anybody tracking with me? Are you with me? Like that song goes, are you with me? Okay. So the bottom line is it's like, it's time to take our power back. And so a constant theme I've been thinking of in the last year, in addition to reading The Power of the Subconscious Mind, is just this whole theme of like, hey, maybe I could hire someone to hypnotize my mom. Like I've been on this track. Ask Scott at our house. If you've been a fly in the wall, you've been hearing this, and I'm like, why can't we just hypnotize people to have success and to have breakthrough moments with their finances, so they're not scraping bottom anymore and struggling with their finances and fighting in their marriages? Like, why can't we just hypnotize people to do that? If they can hypnotize people to think they're freezing and put 5 coats on, I mean, have you guys ever wondered this sort of thing? Or these are the concepts I lay in bed at night and think about? Well, I swear to God, my mind is a receptor, and they say there's something now called 6G, which I'm believing is out there, and they're saying it's something where, like, our devices through our eyes are reading our minds. And I'm like, I believe this at this point because everything's getting so crazy. But something more recently that happened, if you guys know Grant Cardone, do you guys know him? 10X. Anybody know of Grant Cardone? He's a big sales guy, real estate guy. And he had this guy came in. His name is Russell Brunson. Do you guys know that name? You may or may not. And he's kind of a
what?
younger guy. Yep. Anyway, he's big into
What?
sales, big into
Put it on
funnels, click funnels, all this sort of thing. But the bottom line is he just talks in sales all the time. And you know that next week or maybe 2 weeks from now, he's offering a thing that he's going to focus on selling with the power of the subconscious mind. I said to Scott, I can't make this stuff up. Like, I swear to God, I'm like 2 steps ahead of everything that's going on in the marketplace right now. So what I want you guys to do is I want you to grab hold of what I'm saying. Okay. Okay. I really want you to, I'm sitting on a bed because I couldn't get my internet quite connected, but it's connected. So praise the Lord. And I want you to really grab hold of what I'm saying tonight, because I'm going to teach you some powerful principles that are going to change your life. And the question is, are you ready to change your life? There's an old saying that says, until the pain of staying the same, get this, look at me so I know what you guys are listening. Until the pain of staying the same becomes greater than the pain of change, only then you will change, right? I think people are too comfortable. They're just floating by. You know, they're used to being poor and broke. They're used to being sick, right? Because after all, the, you know, mainstream media has brainwashed the brainwashing of the 6 decades of ill health and poverty and fear, right? So if you say, I don't believe in brainwashing, you've been brainwashed. I got news for you tonight. You've been brainwashed. You know why? Because the mainstream media has been doing this crap for 6 decades, right? So I want you to be out of it though. You know, a lot of people I talk to, they're like, oh, I follow this doctor, I follow that doctor. I want to teach you to make $1 million. Quit trying to be a rocket scientist and a Chinese medicine doctor, unless you really are one and you want to go to school to be one. Then go do that, because I want you to, you know, do what your desire is. But if, how many of you just have a desire for financial freedom? Raise your hand. You are sick of freaking fighting about money with your spouse. You are sick of looking at the price on the menu. You are sick of, you know, everywhere you go, counting pennies, and like, how many of you are fed up with that? Come on. I mean, some of you got to be fed up with that. Now, if you're not fed up with that and you don't have a desire to make money, then you're not going to really like what I'm talking about tonight. But this is the billionaire mindset. So the name of the meeting gave you a clue about what you were getting involved with. We didn't call it the poverty mindset. We called it the billionaire mindset for a reason. So I have a question for all of you. Has the pain of staying the same become greater yet than the pain of change in your life? Because if it's not that bad where you're at, you don't really have the desire to move into something new. Are you guys getting what I'm saying? It's kind of like if you're still wearing the elastic waistband pants and they all still fit, there'll be a moment where they don't, and you got to upsize the elastic waistband pants, and you'll say, enough is enough. I got to take this weight off, right? You guys get what I'm saying? So is the pain of staying the same, is it greater? For me, it got greater. It got greater. Now, no, listen, I talk about money a lot. And I'm getting really good at it, because I'm like, hey, I'm 2 steps ahead of Russell Brunson now, because I'm talking about the power of the subconscious mind before he launched his webinar. And I'm like, that is the secret to not only sales, but to figure out how to change our lives. Okay. Because my ultimate goal is for you guys to change your lives. Hit the mute button on your phones if you just joined us. An ultimate goal I have for you. And you say, why does she care so much about money? Money buys me options. You know, a couple of years ago, we were going through a valley with our family's health, and we didn't have the money. I was counting pennies, and we didn't have the money to do something with one of our children that was a natural health modality, and I didn't have the $7,000. True story. This is about 4 years ago. And I'll be frank with you, it pissed me off that I didn't have the money. Some of you need to get a little bit more angry about your financial situation. Just saying. Okay. Because if you're okay with it, then you're like, you know, I'm just praying about it. I'm like, you can pray. But the last I noted, God never dropped a pot of gold in my living room. I had to get busy. I had to get active. I had to get busy changing my mind so I could change my life, so I could be the frequency that attracted well. Right, guys? But what I realize is things that I like, you know why I want to make so much money that it's coming out of my ears and eyes and throat? Because the things that I value with health, I have to pay for them out of pocket. I don't have insurance. We disengaged from the insurance system for 25 years ago. Scott and I have never said, well, we'll wait to see what our insurance pays for. And if it just pays for that, you know, that colonoscopy and that mammogram, that's what we're going to do. We've never been those people. Remember, I went to school 25 years ago for my doctorate in holistic nutrition, completed 4 years of college in that realm, learned enough to make me incredibly dangerous to the medical system. I didn't get my degree because I got pregnant with Truett, and I decided I just couldn't be writing 19-page papers well, during my pregnancy. It was just not going to work out for me with a 6-year-old and a baby in my belly and a newborn, right? Long story short, I want to talk to you guys about, so again, is the pain of staying the same greater than the pain of change? I'm asking you that question just really frankly, because if you can't say yes to that, if you can't say, yes, I don't want to be this health anymore. I don't want to be this wealth anymore. I don't want to be having the same conversation with my husband about money anymore. I don't want to be in the same house a year from now. I don't want to be counting pennies to find out if I can get a massage for the first time this year. Right? Like, I don't want to be that person anymore. If that's you, is it you? Because it has to be you for you to change. Really, the desire has to be there. So here's what I've realized about desire. How many of you think that we can give others desire? Put in the comments. Do you think that I can give you guys desire? I'll be honest with you. I think desire comes from the Lord. I'm just going to be honest. I think desire comes from God in heaven. I don't feel like I can, it's like you can say exactly the right thing and someone can look at you like a deer in headlights. You guys know what I'm talking about. Desire has to come from God to that person. So I think sometimes we're trying so desperately and so hard, to get to someone to change their life and change their mind and change their finances. And I'm like, listen, if you're still saying money doesn't matter, you're on the wrong Zoom tonight. Okay. Because I'm here to teach you to get financially free, because money will change your marriage. Money will change how you parent your children. I hate that we've been trained. I remember growing up, we went to a church service this weekend, and you know what Bo's takeaway was? For money is the root of all evil. I said, no, Bo. The pastor said, for the love of money is the root of all evil. And he goes, oh yeah. I said, right. I said, but as Christians, we've taken it on as money is the root of all evil. Right? Bo, we walked out of that church service literally this last Sunday here. Bo and we went to the first time he'd ever gone to church down here in Scottsdale. The pastor said that. And of course, I heard it, for the love of money, which is, by the way, the medical system and your politicians, how they sold everybody out to line their pockets. Right? You want to talk about the love of money? People say don't talk politics. I could get really political really fast, because all the politicians have taken all the money. That's why they all retire. They make $250,000 a year being a senator, and then they retire with $42 million in the bank. How did that happen? Okay. Their pockets are getting lined. It's for the love of money, right? The medical establishment has paid off everybody. That is the true love of money right there when we're talking about that. I desire money because it buys me holistic, alternative, natural modalities for my family to be well. I'm not going to be at the mercy of the disgruntled, very corrupt medical system. I refuse to be. I'm not going to be. It's just not who I am. And if you want to be, that's your prerogative. Again, it's still a free country. My desire is freedom. So here's what I want to take a second and do with you guys. I want you to get a sheet of paper out. This is interactive and you're going to love this. So I want you to get a sheet of paper out. Everybody get a sheet of paper. I did mine on bar napkins downstairs. Look at me. I prepared. I prepare when something's really important. I prepare not for me, because I know this stuff. I'm preparing for you guys, because I want you to know it, because I want your families free. Scott and I want your family free financially. Okay? You got a sheet of paper? Raise your hand if you got a sheet of paper and a pen. Everybody got it? Hold it up. Wave it in the air like you just do care.
Right? Hey, Renita.
Yeah.
Hey, can you hear me okay?
I can.
Hey, before you kind of get into some of your teaching, I thought I would introduce, make sure everyone knows about the new podcast that This Is It team has. Because one of the podcasts recently was Mike and Sahi Hernandez. Mm-hmm. And the title of their podcast is Who Loses When You Don't Win? Who loses when you don't win? And it's kind of like what you're talking about, Renita, is, we need to win for each other, for our family, for our parents, for our kids. You know what I mean? For our friends,
for our marriages, for our community, for our church.
All those things. And so it's really important. And it's not the love of money, but we need to, be accountable for our own freedom and our own success, right?
Come on, say it again, Scott.
And we're not, yep.
We need to be accountable for our own freedom. Okay, and I'm not talking about the freedom that's getting us into eternity. I believe in Jesus Christ as my Lord and Savior. He's my golden ticket in, okay? If this is Willy in the Wonka chocolate factory, I got the golden ticket. His name is Jesus, okay? But here on earth, I'm living on earth, and I don't know about you, but I haven't had golden tickets like flying around. So like Scott says, we got to take ownership. We've got to take responsibility. And let me just tell you the power of the subconscious mind. For about 5 years since Smart Sweets came out, I many times emailed the sisters. They're from Canada. And I said, can you make a cinnamon bear Smart Sweet? I really love cinnamon bears. I haven't eaten them for a long time because they got red 40, way too much high fructose corn syrup. Today, I was in Arizona, and a dream came true for me. A dream came true. We got Smart Sweet cinnamon bears. Trude said, can I have one? I said, you can have one. Anyway, that was the power of the subconscious mind. I was visualizing cinnamon bear Smart Sweets. Okay, Scott, thank you for that. So yeah, if you guys haven't plugged into the school, SKOOL, remember, this is all at This Is It team under links on the right-hand side, right? Scott's talking about the podcast where you're not watching anything, but you can go and drive, right? Your vehicle's a rolling library. All right, you ready? Set. I want you on this sheet of paper. Very simple. We're going to do it fast. I'm going to time you. Because another thing that I'm teaching my kids, move it. It's go time. There's a time to move and there's a time. It says it in the scripture. There's a time to mourn. There's a time to laugh. There's a time to cry. There's a time to die, right? There's all these times, right? It's go time is the time it is. So I'm going to set this stopwatch for 60 seconds. And I want you guys in 60 seconds on this sheet of paper to write everything you desire, everything that brings you happiness. Don't plumb line it so scripturally. Maybe you say, I want a Louis Vuitton purse. Don't spiritualize this. Okay. Now listen, some of you are going to say, God, freedom, Jesus. I mean, more of that. Me too. But I'm saying, if there's some physical things that you just want, let's say you just want a new car because your car's a piece of crap. Don't feel guilty about that. Let's say you want a new house. Let's say you want a vacation because you've never taken one with your spouse, right? On your mark, everything you desire, everything that brings you happiness, go. I got the stopwatch going. I'm going to eat my Smart Sweet cinnamon bears while you guys write it because I wrote mine already downstairs. Scott, are you writing them? I hope Scott's writing. What's your desire? What brings you happiness? Anything that brings you happiness. Anything. It can be anything. Maybe it's chocolate fudge. For me, cinnamon Smart Sweet bears. 20 seconds. Right. Oh, come on, guys. Come on. 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Stop. That's enough. You get the point. Okay. Does anybody want to share what their desires or what brings them happiness? Would anyone like to share tonight? Go ahead and raise your hand if you want to share.
Angela? I'll share, Anita.
Okay, I see. We'll see too. I saw Angela's gap came up, but we're gonna also who's saying that? Talk again.
Oh, Robin, but I'm driving, but I'll share.
Okay, go, Robin.
Oh, okay. So I had to scribble while I was driving. Matching cycle bonuses, Tootsie Rolls, bedtime snuggles.
Oh, that's a good one.
Free gas.
Ooh.
Hockey.
Oh yeah, hockey makes you happy. I know that.
It sure does. Hand warmers, my heated jacket, and free airline tickets, affectionate hugs, shoulders to cry on, and my family.
Oh, okay. That was a good list. Do you guys think so? She's actually
could have been more, but I was driving. Red light.
She's actually moving to Minnesota because of her family and hockey. So that's right. How much that desire is moving you down the field, Robin, or down the ice rink, I should say. Okay, you guys get the point? Let's go, Angela, because Angela, thank you for that. Robin, we love you. Put your hands on the wheel. I mean, how are you? I know you drive a Tesla, so maybe it was driving itself and you were just writing, but like it makes me kind of nervous.
I'm in the Tahoe today. I was at my red light, and then I had to go. Yeah.
Yeah. My Mercedes drives itself too, but I don't let it. I turn that feature off because I don't like that. That makes me uneasy. All right. Where did she go? Where did Angela go?
I'm here.
Angela, I'm pinning you.
Oh, okay.
Okay, go ahead, girl. What are your desires and what brings you happiness?
Okay. I want to own an island. I want to design my own house on the beach. I want a Mercedes G550. Freedom. I want 8 billion in the bank. I want to be designing my life and everything that I create. I want to be having my own manufacturing company for my designs. The vision I see of me physically with my health and my weight loss. My husband, my airplane fleet, and I want to be multilingual, making music and having a construction company.
Wow. If you guys don't know Angela, she's incredible. She's a designer. if you didn't catch that yet. And she's incredible, lover of Jesus, designer, so talented in so many ways. And how many of you know that Angela won a house once? Do you know that about Angela? She won a house giveaway. She actually, so they gave her a house, right, Angela?
Yeah, yeah.
So when you're saying owning an island, I'm like, it's not a big deal. Just visualize this. They already gave you a house. Okay. So you can totally do that. That's in the cards for you. That's in God's will for you. All right. It is incredible that she won a house. So I thank you for sharing that. Let's take one more. I love it. So it can be extravagant. It can be grandiose. It doesn't have to fit in the confines of a lens. Sometimes we're like, well, if I don't say it just right, my church friends might think I'm evil. No. Tell us the Mercedes you want. Tell us the 8 billion in the bank. I want to hear it. Let's go. Who else wants to say something? Okay. Lori Lean, where are you, Lori Lean? She's saying something. Lori, you want to talk for a second here? Tell us what your desires are. This is very important. I want to get to know you because do you know Scott and I? Do you know what we attach to? We attach to what it is that you guys are seeking for your families. We love you. We are attaching to what is going on with your families. Your goals become our goals. Right, guys? This is why it's important for us to hear some of this stuff. Who else was going to say it? Is it Lori Lean?
Yeah, I'm here. I want continue great health for myself, but also my family. Financial freedom, all expense paid trip for me and my family, a new car, residual income.
I love it. I love it. Yes. Do you guys get it? What we're doing here? So it can be things that are more like things like freedom, truth, education. It can be things like that. And then it can be things like travel, a new car, right? It can be all of it. When you really take the limits, thank you, Lori. When you take the limits off of yourself, right? It can be all those things, whatever the desire of your heart is. And do you know that I really believe that God gives us those desires? So I started off this by saying, can you change someone's desire? Can I talk and talk and talk into somebody enough that they're going to want to do this patch if they have no desire for health? Can I? I don't believe I can, and I'm a pretty good talker, right? The desire has to come from God, right? And so, some things I wrote downstairs, and Scott, maybe you can align to this. I said, freedom, truth. I've been a freedom fighter my whole life. My whole life, I've been a freedom fighter. Truth, health, travel, education, lots and lots of money. Why? Because it buys you options. Adventure. I've got 3 sons, for goodness sake. Sons cost money. They're better to take on an adventure, right? You guys know this, right? It's fun to take your sons on adventures, especially when the adventures are free, right? So very much, Scott and I found this beautiful house that we want down in 30A that happens to be $8 million. Geez, I wasn't thinking about that steep of a price tag. Now I am, right? So like what happens is God is changing it. He's changing the desires of my heart. We want to have at least 100 SPDs on our team by the end of 2025. God gave me a vision and told 50 of them were going to come from John and Teresa Getz's team. I tell them that all the time. 50 SPDs are going to come from their team because God showed me the vision, right? So the bottom line is, so we have this desire. We have this desire. And so the first thing you're looking for with this is, and I love how you guys are putting your desires, write them in the comments. Let the world know. Again, this is something to be proud of. This is not something you have to hide under a rock. Are you kidding me? Right? If somebody looks at me and says, I can't believe she wants an $8 million house, you're never going to make money, because as long as you're cursing those that are winning, you're not going to win yourself. So you better figure it out quickly, because I used to be that person. So I can talk all day on that they want that purse again. They want that car again. They want this or that. Who cares? Let them want what they want. It's their life. Right? Guys, you get what I'm saying? So I think that we have to focus on yourself, focus on your desires and your values. Okay. So again, I'm going to say it again. I started at the beginning. Some people with their value systems, they want to stay the same. They like staying the same. They like that comfort zone, but only when the pain of staying the same becomes greater than the pain of change will they then move. How many people do you know that have a heart attack and suddenly take control of their health if they live? Do you guys know those people? I know those people. I've been a trainer my whole life. So guess what happens is I meet these people that health wasn't a priority for them. It's the pain of change, right? They don't want to get healthy. They don't want to lose weight. They don't want to change their nutrition. They like Jack Daniels, whatever, let them. The bottom line is they have a heart attack, and then guess what happens? They live. And then what happens? Now they're radically healthy, right? And I say, praise the Lord. Thank God, God saved them and they lived, and now they're getting healthy, right? So the bottom line is and sometimes it takes how many of you know sometimes it takes a crisis to change? Raise your hand if you understand. Sometimes it takes a crisis to change. Some of you know this with Scott and I, the week that we started LifeWave, they canceled us with the last business we were with. The last business we were with, we were making about $250,000 to $300,000 a year. It's significant. That went away like that with my first post. And I wasn't even telling people to sign up on my team. I was just showing my dad's legs, and they canceled me. They terminated my account. Our back was slammed against the wall that week because we weren't making any money in our other business. When the pain of staying the same becomes greater than the pain of change, right? We couldn't stay the same. Do you guys get what I'm saying? We had to move into action, and we had to do it quickly. Our backs were against the wall, okay? Now, I'm not saying everybody needs to have a heart attack or lose a source of income or this before they make a change, but many times, how many of you know that pain is real and people change in that moment of pain? Raise your hand if you understand that. You know, I actually look for people that are fed up with the medical system. It's somebody that I seek out. I swear to God, I have a magnetic attraction toward these people. I sit next to them. Sat next to one yesterday. She's going back and forth. She's getting at the premium kit. She lives down here in Scottsdale. I met her at a restaurant. She was holding her grandbaby. We started talking about vaccines, and she's like, this little guy has had none. I said, you're my lady, right? The bottom line is I'm seeking these people out. She said, I'm fed up with the medical system. I got a ton of medical doctor friends, and she said, they tell me that I should have got the vaccine, and they're all sick now. I said, right? The bottom line is like, you have to find the people that are ready to change. The willingness has to change. Okay, so I'm going to teach you this real quick. How many of you in your own lives feel like you need to increase your desire to do something with this business? Raise your hand. Maybe you know it's a good opportunity. You just haven't done it. Like you just haven't really said, I'm going all in. People are making $1 million, $2 million, $3 million, $4 million a year. We got people making $350,000, $400,000, $200,000 a year. Maybe you're sitting here tonight saying, why haven't I done this? Like, what's my problem? Maybe my life is too easy. Maybe it's too good, right? I haven't lost my job. I don't have, debilitating health, right? So there's a couple desires that need to happen. Number one is you need to increase your own personal desire, right? I think that's the biggest thing. Because if you get on this and you don't have a desire to make money and make a difference and win, then you're just taking in more education. And I'll tell you what, I feel like the world's on education overload. How many of you believe that? You can learn anything, anywhere, anytime. I mean, I feel like at this point, AI is going to give you a degree. I mean, it's just crazy. So to increase your personal desire is what I want to talk about first and foremost. Could you grab me a bottle of water, please? The first thing I want to talk about is when you change your own personal desire. How many of you have won anything? You guys listened to the athlete meeting last night. You listened to Michelle. You listened to Ellen. You listened to Bo, right? You listened to Mary. How many of you know that in order for you to change a desire for it to become like a focus for you, if you're saying, listen, I want LifeWave to become a focus and I don't want to have a heart attack to make it happen and I don't want to lose my job to make it happen. Renita, how do I change my desire? Well, let me tell you right now. How you change your desire for something, raise your hand, by the way, if any of you are on here tonight and you're like a champion at anything. Maybe you're a champion, artist. Maybe you're a champion. I was a state speech champion. You guys know that about me? I should have won my sophomore and junior year too because we were the very best, but we got hosed. But I won my senior year. And I remember like clear as day, my dad was a raging alcoholic. He drank like a sieve. My parents never came to anything that I was doing. I was in track. I quit track. I think my mom came to one track meet. They never came to my speech. I was very good at it. And I'll never forget, my dad came to the very first speech meet ever, was my state speech meet when I won. And he was just sobbing. He was just sobbing, my father. And I remember just thinking, oh my God, like he just missed out on it all because it's my last meet of my high school career and I won. And I'm glad he's here for me winning because he came to the whole thing, but he just couldn't believe what he was witnessing. And so my point is, how many of you have won at anything? Any of you won anything? You're putting in there, you guys putting in the comments what you've won at. Put what you won at. Maybe you were an athlete. Maybe you were, I don't know, One time I won the scoop shovel race. I told the group the other night, my frequency is winning. When I was a kid one time, I went to this place. It was a hardware store in Washburn, North Dakota, and I registered at this hardware store, and I won a year's supply of clam chowder. Did you guys hear this story? Clam chowder, cans of clam
Victoria
chowder.
Allen. Ooh, I wonder if that's.
So I literally gave everybody. Hey,
Diana
Amanda.
has 2
I
people
can hear
on.
Amanda.
Oh.
Amanda, can you mute yourself? Anyway,
Sorry.
I recognize that sexy voice. Anyway, the bottom line is I won a year's supply of clam chowder, and everybody got clam chowder for Christmas, and they thought it was crazy, but I was like 15 and I won clam chowder. So everybody got clam chowder. Another time I was in the barn, pail feeding the calves, dead of winter. We had an old rotary dial phone in our barn, like one that went like this, and it went back, this, and it went back. You know what I'm talking about, those old phones, those like round spinner phones. And you have to call the 1-800 number to win. And I won. I was like the 51st caller. I won a skateboard, like that you push with your leg, like you stand on it and you push one foot like this, a scooter, like a little scooter thing. I always won stuff. Like I'm a winner. Like I have a winning frequency. I walk around thinking I'm a winner. I walk around, I like to win. I want to help people win. It's just like something that I give off. I don't walk around thinking I'm such a loser. I don't think like that. I think I'm a winner, right? The bottom line, I'm telling you this because when you have to change your desire to something that you're going to really do this instead of just getting by in your marriage, getting by in your finances, getting by in your home life, you have to become obsessed with it. You have to start thinking about it all the time. I wonder if Alan Webb, the guy who was on last night, thought a little bit about running when he was in the heat of his running career, holding national records for 25 years and going and competing in the Olympics. Do you guys think he was thinking about it a lot? Anyone? How about Michelle? Those road races she's doing. She's going out and riding her bike for 5 hours. You think she's thinking about biking a little bit? When you start becoming just thinking about something all the time, maybe some of you say, I don't like to use the word obsessed. Well, then just you're thinking about it all the time. Do you know that is a way to change your desire? Some of you are thinking about LifeWave on every 17th day. I got news for you. You're not going to win. It's just not going to happen. Can I be frank? You have to literally go all in. It's like that saying, be obsessed or be average, right? So I'm talking money tonight. I want you guys to win financially. Scott and I want you to win financially. So you have to begin thinking about it all the time. What I did when I first joined LifeWave is I actually just started playing David Schmidt videos in the background. I went to YouTube. I found everything that was David Schmidt, and I thought this guy's got the strongest belief, even greater than Steve and Gina. I'm going to listen to everything this guy says. It's kind of like when I committed my life to Jesus Christ at 25. I didn't just read the Bible. I went and bought a red letter Bible. I wanted to read everything in red letters that Jesus said because he was my hero. You guys get it? So I became obsessed with the red letter Bible. I became obsessed with what Jesus said. Okay. When I got in LifeWave, I didn't just go to what Steve and Gina said because Steve knew a little bit, but he didn't know that much. But guess who created the technology who knows a lot? David Schmidt. So I literally went and found every David Schmidt video. And if you ask Scott, the first month of our business, I just had that stuff playing nonstop in our home. You know how some people play music? I was playing David Schmidt. That was the frequency we were on. Okay. Because I needed to grab hold of this and understand it fully if I was going to go out and promote it. So I'm asking you to change your own personal desire so that it becomes something that you want to do. You have to start getting engaged all the time. You can't just say, well, I'm going to get on the Wednesday night meeting for the week. Okay. I became obsessed. Scott became obsessed. We just became obsessed in that moment. Well, number one, we weren't making money elsewhere. So if tomorrow you guys lose your jobs, then what? Are you more or less motivated? Right? So we were super motivated. You guys got that one? Think about it all the time. So how I started thinking about it all the time is I played it. I couldn't get it out of my brain because it was always playing in the background, and I was picking up on what David was saying, and I was listening because back then we didn't have This Is It info and This Is It team, and we certainly didn't have the podcast like Scott is telling you to go listen to, and we didn't have the school for This Is It team. Now we have all of those tools now, so now it's even much easier to really permeate your brain and be thinking about it all the time because we've got this on the go podcast, as Scott mentioned, right? We've got these tools for you to be winning consistently. Back when we started 2 years and 7 months ago, I had to go seek out videos. They really didn't exist. And I found everything I could find with David Schmidt, and I just pushed play. Okay. You guys understanding this? Thinking about it all the time. Who's in? who is willing to up their ante. Again, be obsessed or be average. If you don't want to be obsessed, then just stay average and just don't wonder why it's not happening. Because if you're average, it's not happening. Alan Webb was not average. Mary Morgan was not average. Michelle is not average. Bo is not average. I remember Bo was a little boy. Our son Bo was a little boy. His buddies would be all at the pool playing. Bo would be across the street getting ready for the Hershey, Pennsylvania track meet at age like 12, 13 with a coach in 110-degree heat doing sprints while his buddies swam across the street. He was not average. He wasn't thinking like his buddies. You guys get what I'm saying? So you have to become somewhat obsessed if you're really going to take this thing to the moon and back. And maybe you say, Renita, I don't want to get obsessed with it. It's okay then. I'm not telling you you have to do this. I'm saying if you want to become a multi-millionaire with LifeWave, you're going to have to get somewhat obsessed with this thing. Okay? All right. Number two.
Renita.
Yes, you want to elaborate on that, Scott?
I was just thinking of something, and I got to tell you, I'm a big fan of yours on Facebook. I read all your posts. You know, they're really motivating, and I love them. And you're gone in Arizona, and you're enjoying the 75-degree weather, and it's 55 below zero here in Bismarck, back home, by the way. So I look forward to seeing you in a couple days. But you had a post this morning that said you're either led by your excuses or by your reasons, and one is not a good leader. And so it kind of makes me think of this when you're saying this right now. It's like, you know, we all have excuses, right? Everybody has challenges. And, you know, I'm not asking any of you to put those into the chat because we don't want to give too much power to the excuses, right? But, you know, I mean, there's even like worldly sayings, like excuses are like a-holes and everybody's got them. Like, you know, and, you know, we could walk around and we could have all sorts of kind of replays in our mind about reasons why, you know, we are where we are if we're not where we want to be yet. And we all have excuses. And I think what we need to do is obviously be led by our reasons. But we have to ask ourselves, and we need to be really honest and ask ourselves, what's bigger? Is the excuse bigger than the reason? You know, I mean, we got to have some really moving, powerful reasons, right, Renita, that make us want to get up and go and get after it. And I know everyone on. So if you wanted to, you could put in the chat one of your reasons, you know. And if you put a reason that's really powerful, it's going to be bigger than your excuses. It's going to be bigger than. It doesn't matter what the excuses are when your reason is big enough. We used to do complete meetings, right, Renita, on what is your why and determining your why. And if the why makes you cry, then you'll be, you know, then you can do it. Then you'll be successful, you know, but the reasons are what make you be consistent, right, Renita? The reasons make you show up every day with excellence and enthusiasm and energy, regardless of what somebody else says, yes or no.
People
someone
always have
could say
opinions.
no, someone could say yes. I've got my reasons. I'm doing this.
Exactly.
Right.
A big reason right now financially for my mom is she's going to run out of money. My dad, they were not wealthy. They were just a middle class, blue collar family. And my dad left a little bit of money when he died, but it was not much money. She's going to run out of money eventually. She's going to outlive her money for sure because on paper she looks perfect. And the bottom line is, I said to Scott, my brothers are so tight. They're so freaking tight. They're not going to put one penny toward anything. So as soon as she's out of money, she's going to be at the mercy of the state. Not on my watch. See this? Do you see the conviction when I say that? Not on my watch or my husband Scott's watch will my mother be at the mercy of the state.
Right.
Hell no. So that creates such resolving for me that we've got to make so much freaking money. I don't care if it costs $20,000 a month for her to be living independently in that beautiful facility with her little dog that she loves living in, that today she's dancing and singing to the music. We're going to have the money to pay. I'm not going to rely on my brothers. Their desire is not to help my mother. They're actually losing out on a generational blessing. If you understand the Bible, the firstborn male is supposed to take care of the mother. You guys know that if the father dies and if he doesn't take care of the mother, that financial generational blessing is then handed to the child that takes care of the mother. Do you guys know that? That's scriptural, by the way. So I got a feeling, I'm going to be a billionaire at this point, right? Because they're not contributing nothing and they don't want to. And it's a little bit of too much maybe TMI for some of you with my family, what's going on. But hey, we all got family stuff going on, right? So do I want my mom to be at the mercy of the state? No. We are going to make so much money and continue to make so much money. And again, it's not just like because we want to make money. I don't want somebody sitting in a nursing home, and God knows if the government changes something and people have to all of a sudden knock on windows to see their loved one, I'm not going to be at the mercy of that. Because remember, a foundational thing that I wrote down for you guys that I believe that brings me happiness is freedom. It's freedom. So when I show you this little napkin, it says freedom on it. You guys get what I'm saying? So you got to get that resolve. You got to get that belief, that hunger, right? It's not just about the money. I don't want mom to go in a freaking a standard nursing home where they don't care, right? You get it? You guys get this? It's way deeper. If you keep asking why, until you get to that base why of what it's about, it's not just about the money. It's about what that money's buying you, the freedom that it's buying you, the options that it's buying you, the health that it's buying you, the house, the travel, the life experiences with your family, right, guys? Okay, so the next thing, you guys got it? Be obsessed. Who's got that one down, Pat? You don't stop thinking about it. You can't think of it every third day. I say this to Scott all the time. People that come into network marketing, and every 18th meeting they show up and they got a million questions. I say to Scott, that's fine. It's the freedom business. But guess what? If I was in a basketball team or a soccer team or a hockey team, if I showed up for every practice on the 18th time, would my coach say, get out there and run the play? You wouldn't know the play. You never been here, right? He's gonna bench you. You're gonna get benched. Why are you gonna get benched? Because you only showed up once every 18th practice. You see what I'm saying? So when you start to become obsessed, that's when the whole pattern of the braining, the subconscious mind begins to change. Okay? So that's number one. Number two, surround yourself with people that you want to be like, that you want to do what they're doing. Now, if you're saying, I want to be a medical doctor, like Dr. Jen, I want to be a medical doctor or a naturopathic doctor, then you should watch those people. You should watch those people. I'm just being honest with you. I don't want to be that. I went to school to be a naturopathic doctor, right? I went back for my doctorate in holistic nutrition and naturopathy. And I quit because I'm like, I don't want to see a bunch of patients. I don't want a lineup of sick people. That's not what I want. Okay. I want to help people. I want to help people that want to get well, but I don't want to sit when I get some of these text messages that say, I got my sister that has been on chemo for 17 years and she's not willing to try anything. And what should I do? And I'm like sitting back here saying, pray. Don't waste your mouth. Pray, right? Because God changes the desires of the heart. God has to change your sister's desires of her heart. So number two is surround people. Remember that old saying, you become the 5 people you hang out with most. Have you ever heard that? You become the company you keep. If you hang out with overweight, sick people, you will be the next overweight, sick person. That's why I don't just want to attract a bunch of sick people in my business. Why? Because then I got to talk to sick people all day, every day. I don't want that for my business. I want to help if God is leading me to serve and bless those people and help pull them out of the pit. And if they're ready to change their life, I'm there. But I don't spend my time looking for the sickest person in the room and go after them. Right? Guys, are you getting what I'm saying? So you got to surround yourself with the 5 people that you want to be like. Okay. That you want to have I've always said, be careful to take advice from people that you don't want your life to be like. Okay. And maybe you say, Renita, I don't want your life. I don't want to travel and go stay with your kids. And this morning I was snuggling with my 24-year-old because his house was like ice. And I snuggled with Bo in his bed. He said, get off me, Mom. I said, no, I'm going to hold you down and you're going to feel my cold feet because you had to turn this air off in your house. Maybe you don't want to snuggle with your 24-year-old. I do. Okay. Maybe you don't want to leave the 65 below wind chill and come down to Scottsdale. I do. Scott's coming in a couple days. We want options, right? We want options with our family, with our life. But if it's not us that you want to follow, then find somebody that you want to be around and hang out with that person. But again, be very careful because if you hang out with broke, sick people, you will be the next broke, sick person. Okay. And that's a major problem I have at most churches. I'll just say it. And I love church and I have an honor and respect for the Lord. You guys know I love Jesus Christ with all my heart. Truth is, a lot of churches keep people sick. They're always talking about the problem, right? I'm like, if I would be a pastor at a church, I would be bringing in personal development, person after personal development, kind of like how they brought in Dave Ramsey for Financial Peace University. I'd bring that in for every facet of life to get my parish well. That's what I'd be doing at church. I wouldn't be serving little cans of Coke and popcorn for everybody that's half diabetic in the pews, right? So the bottom line is there's weirdness going on there. So I've disconnected from that fully because I'm like, you know what? I think sometimes just like these Facebook groups keep people sick. And if you offer a solution, they kick you out. Sometimes churches keep people sick. Okay. I'm not saying all churches. I'm saying be wary. Be thinking about the stuff I'm talking about. Okay. So number 2 is surround yourself with those people. Okay. And if you say, well, I don't really have those people, well, then it's very important for you to refer back to number 1, which is become obsessed and get involved with every Zoom meeting and every training that's on, right? Because maybe you don't have those 5 or 4 people in your life right now, but maybe if you start hanging out in this atmosphere, you're going to find them, right? Number 3, talking about persuasion. Okay. Okay. So when you're in there, when I'm in there talking to people, it's important for me to know if I'm going to persuade them to do the patch, I have to know what their limited belief is. And generally, if you just let people talk, they'll tell you their limited belief. How many of you know it? If you just let people talk, don't worry, they'll tell you what their limited belief is. Okay? Are you guys getting what I'm saying here? Just let people talk a little bit. Let them talk. And they'll tell you maybe their limited belief is, I've always been sick. I get 4 sinus infections a year. They'll tell you. People tell you, I've always been broke. I try to talk to people, but I'm not good at sales. They're telling you their limited beliefs. Okay? You guys with me? So now I know someone's limited belief. Maybe their limited belief is, I just don't want to talk about money because I'm a pastor. Some people think like that. I'm like, the pastor should be talking the most about money. Everybody in the church is poor and they need the money so they can go get a massage or a chiropractic adjustment instead of relying on the broken medical system, for God's sake. Right? So I'm like, gosh, I wish the pastors would be leading the charge of this wealth experience and this health experience. But it, comes down to, again, I realized a long time ago, I don't believe in a church. I don't belong in a church setting. I am a marketplace worshiper, much like Jesus. Jesus went into the marketplace. And that's who we talk to. Those are my people. I'm a marketplace pastor. I'm pulling people out of the trenches left and right with their health, their marriages, their finances, leading them to Jesus, but telling them how to make money, telling them how to, reactivate their stem cells, right? Doing all these things. And I don't over spiritualize it because I think over spiritualizes. I know a lot of really over spiritual, broke people. Do you guys know these people? They're over spiritual and they're broke. And their marriages suck and they're unhealthy. Come on. So I'm like, quit over spiritualizing everything. Let's just get to the brass tacks of what needs to be done here. All right. So number 3, now that you know their limited belief, your job is to literally come in there and tell a story, a new story, to help them overcome that limited belief and plant a new belief. So maybe their limited belief is, I've never had success at network marketing. Maybe their belief is, I don't believe in phototherapy. Maybe their belief is, they're all going to have, again, if you just let somebody talk, they're going to express to you their limited belief. I can't lose weight because my spouse doesn't support me. I can't make money because my husband doesn't like network marketing, right? Whatever. They all got a limited belief, right? We all do. I've got them too. You could, if you sat around me, you could get to know my limited beliefs real quick too. Okay. So number 3 is you got to tell a new story to them with enough emphasis and enough emotional energy and enough power for them to change, for them to grab hold of that new belief and let go of that old rope that's holding them back, tying them down, the old weight, right? So your job is to come in there with enough excitement, enough enthusiasm, enough belief, right? To actually come in there and change it. And let me just give you, I have to say something real quick because it just came to my mind. If you're in the Facebook group and you see the question asked 90% of the time in our Facebook group, it's the same question. Who knows what the question is? Who's in the Facebook group enough to know what the question that's always being asked constantly in the Facebook group? Anybody? Anybody? I'll tell you the question. Is it common for me to have aches and pains when I start putting out the patch and get lethargic? This is the question. It's asked over and over and over. And you know, the answer is always the same. What's the answer, everybody? Let's see if you've been around the arena enough to hear.
You need electrolytes.
You need electrolytes. You know that somebody wishes I would tell them that their right kidney is failing. They should go to the doctor, get on this drug, they'd be happier with that response. Because in their minds, consuming electrolytes just seems too simplistic, which is why many don't go do it. Isn't it crazy? I'm like, throw yourself in an Epsom salt bath. You know, eat some avocado with some salt on it, right? It seems so simple. Rather than that, they want to go to their doctor and get some diagnosis. I'm like, your diagnosis is you are poor intracellularly hydrated. Your body takes energy to heal, and you just exhausted your energy stores with the very little magnesium, potassium, and sodium you had in your body. And now you feel like you're tired because your body needs more energy to heal, right? You got cells, and when they get hard, they can't communicate. They go like this, they knock heads. What are cells supposed to be? There's two reasons that people get sick and diseased. Number one is they are toxic. So the toxins get in these cells and the cell becomes hardened, and then the toxins can't escape the cells. And so now the toxins are sitting in the cells. The other reason that people get sick is because they're nutrient deficient. So not only are the toxins not getting out, the nutrients you're eating can't get into that dried up cell. You guys with me? We need the cells to let the toxins out and the nutrients in so the cells can start clapping and talking and having a party again, right? But when the cells are doing this, you're going to get slow. You're going to get fatigued. You're going to get tired. You're going to get brain fog. You're going to get pain. Like David Schmidt said, if you get pain, you are dehydrated. And it's not just drink another glass of water, because the water doesn't have enough minerals. We need intracellular hydration. So that's the, you know, if you go in my Facebook group, ask Scott how many times I answer that question a day. I mean, it gets to be exhausting. Honestly, it gets to be exhausting because I'm like, okay, this is just so easy. Can we just tell everybody? Do you know that I started at the meeting that we had down here in Scottsdale? We literally handed out electrolyte packets with their water. Why? Because I want people to have a good product experience. Do you know that you could double down on signing people up if you just gave them an electrolyte packet when you gave them one patch? By the way, I wouldn't give them more than one. Because people, when they pay attention. When you give them 3, 5, 7, 12, 24 patches, they're not even caring. When their money's attached to, when people's pocketbooks attached to something, they pay attention. Okay? Until that, you're just giving away the farm, and they may or may not notice because they're so dang dehydrated, right? You guys with me? And then at the end of 20 days, they're like, I tried that patch, it didn't work. Well, it's not going to work. They're dehydrated. Okay? You guys with me? Everybody got, that was a sidewinder there because that just made me thinking about what's going on in there. But you have to tell them a new story. Your cells are like this. They're dried up. They can't communicate. Imagine a box of rocks. When you drink the water in here, if I drink this big water right here, and these are my hard little rocks in a bucket, the water's going to run right through the rocks and run right out the bottom side of me, right? You're going to pee like a racehorse when you dump this in and you don't have good cellular health and hydration. That's going to run right through and you're going to pee like a racehorse. It's my number one sign when I don't have good hydration. I'm just peeing all the time. Good hydration means you need the cells to have the sodium potassium pump. The sodium potassium pump looks like this on the outside of every cell. Sodium, potassium, sodium, potassium, sodium, potassium. It's like a gate. It's like a gate on the cells. And if you don't have that, then the cells, the hydration is not able to penetrate the cells, and the toxins can't, we need the toxins out and the nutrition in. Okay, you guys got it? That's your nutrition fact of the day. And that's a good one, because if you guys increase your electrolytes, you'll probably get rid of 70% of your problems. And then when you put the patch on, you'll probably get rid of 98% of your problems. All right, that's called health problems. So we're back to the persuasion. So think about it all the time, surrounding yourself with those people, and then, you know, the art of persuasion. So, you know, you've talked to them long enough to figure out their limited belief, but we don't want to sit and talk about their limited belief. Let me give you an example. The other night I had an event. We had an event. And before the event, someone texted me a lady that was coming, and her list of ailments was long. It's not the longest I've ever seen, but it was pretty long. It was like 13 things, and it was bad, right? And then this lady said, and this lady's going to come to your party, and she's coming late. So when she walked in, it was after the party was all over, right? Now she walked in. Okay. Now I'm like, okay, I can't do another hour-long meeting here. And I knew the list, and I didn't even say to the lady, now tell me the story. Do you know why I didn't say that to the lady? Why didn't I say that?
You didn't want her to repeat it.
I don't need to hear it again. You've said it 2,476 times out of your mouth. It's already a neural pattern of 24 years. Trust me when I tell you, don't say it again. Right? So I didn't say that to the lady, but I didn't even ask. I said, I read what was texted about your ailments. I'm sorry you've gone through that. I said, truth is, I think the patch is going to help. I went right to the solution. I go right to the solution. Okay? Because remember, for some people, I one time listened to Rick Warren speak, and he said, when you have what's in your hand is your identity, your influence, and your income. Have you ever heard this? Your identity, your influence, and your income. And he said sometimes, like for professional basketball players, their identity is that basketball, right? Their income is that basketball, right? Their influence is that basketball. For some people, what they talk about all the time, there is their identity, their influence, and their income. So let's say someone who's been sick for 24 years and they're talking about it again. Well, that's their identity. And you say influence. Well, that's how they're able to have people help them and strike up conversation and make friends. Everybody says, oh, how's it going for you? Right? You guys know what I'm saying? And I'm not saying being heartless. I'm just saying, how long do we need to coddle that? Right? Like I say to my mom all the time, listen, when you don't have Parkinson's anymore, what are you going to talk about? You better figure out now what you're going to talk about, Mom, because you're on the heal. You're a healing machine. Your body is designed by my Father in heaven to heal, and you are healing. So when you no longer have this diagnosis, what are you going to talk about? Who are you going to be? What are you going to do with your life and your time? Right? So what I try doing is getting the person thinking in the direction of the healing instead of saying again the ailment. Are you guys getting this?
Anita,
yeah.
Hey, I was thinking, one of the things that we love about LifeWave is that we have a solution so that when we meet people and they talk about their problems, you don't have to just be sad with them and come alongside them and talk about how awful it is. And, this is our life now. When people talk about a challenge, you can say, are you ready to change your story? I think I have something, and it's a blessing, and it's an opportunity to help that person. Instead of just like attaching to sickness, we can say, there's victory over here. I mean, you should see the testimonies. I'm going to send you a link right now. You click testimonies, you start watching these videos, and I'm going to call you this afternoon and I'll help you get the order started. It'll take us 2 or 3 minutes.
Right.
I mean, sometimes when we're enrolling people, that's how long it takes.
Yeah.
We don't need to send 3 days worth of hour-long meetings and answer, 1,000 questions. We say, it sounds like you're ready for breakthrough with your health. I'm going to send you a link. This is an info. Click testimonies. I mean, watch 5. And then when you're ready this evening, text me back. I'll get your order placed in like under 3 minutes and we'll get these patches to you. I'm so excited. You're going to love it. I'm so excited for you to have breakthrough and for your story to change. You deserve it. Right.
And what you can do is you can repeat back what they say. So this is a really good thing in sales. Like when they say, I don't assume that they're ready to change. I ask them. I need them saying yes. So I say, are you ready to change your story? If they say, yeah, but, that tells me they're not ready to change their story. You guys getting it? The but got in the way. Okay. The other night, this incident that I'm talking about, this woman, I said, I really believe I said, are you ready to change your story? She goes, yeah, but tomorrow I have a meeting with a doctor in Mexico and I think he's going to help me. And I said, I think the patch is going to help you. I said, I would honestly try the patch first. I'm not sure what the doctor in Mexico is going to cost you. I can't imagine it's going to be inexpensive. I said, but I would definitely try the patch before you're investing thousands of dollars or traveling anywhere else in the world. I would give the patch a fair shake. I would give it 30, 60, 90 days on some of these, situations that I read about. I believe it would help you. Yeah. I'm going to ask the doctor about the patch tomorrow. Do you think I spent any more time with that lady? What do you guys think about me? I didn't. I said, you know what?
No way.
Let me know what the doctor says. I got to go for dinner with my kids. And I left because I thought to myself, I'm not sitting here and doing this. I've gotten really good at hearing when people are not ready. And how many of you know when you work with somebody that's not ready, it tires you out more than it tires them out? How many of you realize this? When you work with somebody that's not ready, you will get more fatigued than they get, right? Because you're over there trying to convince, trying to persuade, but their belief, their motivation, their desire is not quite there yet, right? So God grants us the desires of our heart, it says in the word of God. And I believe that God, how many of you, God has changed your desires as the years have gone on? Have any of your desires changed? Raise your hand. God has definitely changed my desires from when I was a kid to now, right? And God, I mean, this is our God. Our God is a growth God. Our God is, by the way, our God in heaven, Jesus, for me, is a growth God. He's never like, okay, you're good. You've done enough. You've helped enough people. Okay, let's just call it quits, Renita. He's like, I think you can help some more. I'm like, I think I can, right? And so the bottom line is we have a very much a growth God. So the reason I'm telling you these important things, and listen, lately what has happened to me, I'll just be really honest with you. I said to Scott, I've been focusing on the subconscious mind now for almost a year. And I mean, I've really got this down pat, and some people haven't read the book yet, right? And I'm thinking, I don't know what to tell you. It's kind of like the lady when I was telling her, oh, I think Patch is going to help you. And she's like, I got a doctor's appointment tomorrow with this guy in Mexico. And I'm like, can you push it back? You know, like wait a couple weeks, get on the patch for now, because it'll save you a ton of money. Right. But the bottom line is what I really realized is that with the power of the subconscious mind, so much of our subconscious beliefs are holding us back. And if you don't know what your subconscious, I think the first step is you have to recognize what your subconscious belief is. And don't dwell there. Like Scott says, we don't want to talk about the problem very long. So we're not going to sit there and overanalyze, you know, our limited beliefs that we have. But now that you're even aware of it in your own life, can you start telling yourself a new story? So instead of, maybe the story went something like this: I can't talk about money because I'm a pastor and it's not very faithful to talk about money. Maybe the news story goes something like that: all my families in my parish are praying for money. I have a solution that can set families free. I know an extra $200, $300 a month will save most marriages, right? It'll allow that couple to go on a date night a couple times a month to rekindle the flame and save that marriage. Like, I'm going to start talking about the money as a pastor. It's very important to people's lives. No one's floating around here with gold buckets laying around, right? So the bottom line is, can you persuade yourself and tell yourself enough persuasive story to change that subconscious belief? And like I've been saying, it happens at night when you're going to bed. It happens in the morning when you're waking up. It happens when you're in the shower. It happens through repetition, right? That's why I told you I'm on the 15th time of reading the book. I didn't read it once and throw it in the corner. I listened to it again and again and again, and I open it again and again, and I just don't stop. Why? Because people can go to work for 40 years, 40 hours a week doing the same dang thing where they don't have life and success and financial abundance. I certainly can read a book 15 times, right? Guys, get what I'm saying? So you have to kind of change your perspective to change your life. Okay. Scott, do you want to add anything on to this, what I'm saying? So I'm talking desire. If you have to change your own desire first to build this business, you're going to have to start persuading yourself with a new story. And you're going to have to put that new story on repeat. Okay. Pete and repeat went fishing. Pete fell in the water. Who was left?
Repeat.
Do it. Repeat. Pete and repeat went fishing. Pete fell in the water. And who was left?
Repeat.
Repeat. Pete and repeat went fishing. It's like, come on. This is not rocket science. What are you doing? You're laying down a new neurological pattern. If your neurological pattern has been guilt about money, shame about money, fear about talking. If anybody comes at me and says, I can't believe you're talking about that LifeWave again, I would never apologize for getting people healthy and wealthy. I'm never going to say to them, I'm so sorry you're offended by me talking about LifeWave. You know, I'm just over here trying to save lives, right? pull
Hey,
people out of
Renita.
the pit of sickness. So
Renita.
if you feel like you have to apologize or answer to those people, I'm going to tell you what, my favorite word, ask Scott what one of my favorite words is. Next.
Next.
It's my favorite word. Next. It's okay. I'm okay with that. I just wash my hands of it and walk away. Right?
Hey, Renita, when you talk about desires, right? I think that, when you give up hope a little bit, then you kind of stop thinking about your own desires, or it's also a little bit worldly or, psychological too, or you feel like, if the world says, if you're focused on your desires, then you're selfish, right? And you're not helping your family or your friends or whatever. And I think, it kind of gets back a little bit to what we talked about earlier on the call is reasons or excuses. You got to, and I also love that when you talk about subconscious, that you talk about super conscious, because super conscious is that vocation or that calling that God has on your life that sometimes can almost seem like, wow, it's that's a lot bigger than anything I would have ever imagined, right? But I think God wants me to have that. I think God wants my marriage to be that way. I think God wants my family to experience this. And it's that super conscious that we need to tap in. So number one, faith is our foundation. And we believe that God wants us to have abundance on earth just as it is in heaven. So he wants us to experience forgiveness and grace and peace and joy and physical freedom and health freedom and financial freedom. And then it's the reasons that we have will fuel the desire. And we talk with our boys, Renita, a little bit about with network marketing or home-based businesses. I hate to say this because, but this is just, we say, treat it like a job. And if you didn't show up, you get fired. And, it's interesting because, Renita, we are so competitive and so driven that we write our goals down and then we just work until it happens. And when we meet people on our team, just as you said, Renita, we love it when we get to know our team because truthfully, your goals become our goals, honestly, and we will work with you. We won't work for you, but if you show up, we'll work with you until we'll work until it happens, And I think sometimes we get stuck in our jobs and, jobs can pay the bills, but it's not going to create wealth. It's not going to create, financial freedom, probably, maybe until you're older, and retired, and so, you think about jobs and sometimes you just get stuck, and that's the neural pattern thing that you talk so much about, Renita, and you kind of just get on autopilot and you're barely paying the bills and month to month is happening and your debt is piling up and don't want to talk about finances, but finances are affecting your own personal health.
Hello.
Finances are affecting your marriage and finances are affecting your parenting. Finances are affecting your children's health.
Hello.
Right? And all those things. And so, we kind of, I don't know, we can get really stuck in our jobs, right? And without hope, without a vehicle that we can kind of jump on and jump into and go for it, we think like, this is it. This is my life. This is all I'm going to have. And Renita, we've seen people on our team completely change their health, completely change their finances. I mean, unrecognizable financial transformation.
100%.
And, we've shared their names, they've been on our calls, people that were living in trailers on their parents' properties to buying a home, to paying off debt, to paying off mortgages, paying off cars, taking all the vacations that they want, having the money to help their parents, to help their kids, to help, people in their church, whatever it is, whatever your reasons are, But yeah, I think it's part of it is just psychology, getting stuck in that rut, giving up hope a little bit, feeling like, I'm selfish if I think too much about my own reasons or my own desires. And those are all traps. Those are all traps. And we want to break through and we want to think, we need to become as strong as we can individually. And then as a core, as a marriage, as a household, as a family, as a community, as a church, as a community, as a nation, all those things, we need to become stronger. And to do that, we have to wake up. We have to tell the truth. We have to be honest. We have to kind of confront these obstacles, whether they be health obstacles or financial obstacles. We have to confront them head on with boldness and just execution. Just, go for it. This is it.
And I also believe a word that I was talking about with the boys and Bo down here. I said, every interaction that you have, just do it with the spirit of excellence. Always do things with the spirit of excellence. Every interaction should be excellent. because it doesn't matter if they get in or don't get in, or get on the patch or don't get on the patch, or work the business or don't. As long as you've done your part with the spirit of excellence, then again, it's up to their desire, right? If their desire is matching that and they say, wow, I need to do this, like, this is amazing, right? You'll align. Other people, their desire may not be there, and it's okay. The question is are you doing your part with the spirit of excellence? Are you getting on every Zoom meeting? Are you doing as many one-on-ones as possible? Are you doing, are you going the extra mile for your team, right? And I always think, and you better get good at being faithful with a little real quick if you want a lot. Because in the Bible, it says, if you're faithful with a little, you'll get a lot. You know what I mean? And sometimes Scott and I sometimes say, wow, we prayed for this. We're kind of like Steve and Gina at this point where we're like, wow, we're doing back-to-back Zoom meetings and doubling up on things. And, but the point is like, we prayed for this, right? This is what we wanted. This is what we want to serve and bless and love others and help them to pull out of the pit of the health and wealth, mouse wheel that they're on, right? We want them off that. We want them in that health excellent mode. We want them in that wealth creation mode and making good financial decisions mode, right? So at the end of the day, guys, I have so much to say, and you're going to get a lot more training like this out of me because I've got so much under the hood. I told Scott, I am taking in information so quickly right now. And some people say, how do I sell? I'm going to start using the word sell. And I'm going to tell you, I'm going to close with one story. When Scott and I and the boys were down in Punta Cana, Dominican Republic, many of you were on the free trip. Congrats. Those of you that are pushing for Punta Mita, you know who you are. I see all the names on the list. We're so proud of you. We cannot wait to share time with you in Punta Mita. But when we were in Punta Cana, we took a ride on a taxi. And there was a gentleman on the taxi, and he was talking about his children. And he said, you know that starting at age, because over in Punta Cana, Dominican Republic, if you've never been there, it's like a third world country until you get to the resort, right? But they're taught starting at age 6 to sell. He said, so what we do with our children is every day starting at age 6, they take something to school that they have to sell to their classmates. I said, you're kidding me. He goes, no, every single day. Every day, every child has to bring something to school to sell. And he said, and sometimes it's just like an empanada or it's just something, it's just things, but they literally are learning to sell. He said, because remember, our primary mode of earning income in this country is tourism. And he said, and a lot of people here sell to the tourists. And he said, so we start training our children at 6 to do that. And I thought, wow, the U.S. needs to get on board, because in the U.S. people say, I don't know how to sell. I'm scared to sell. Right. And over there, you got 6-year-olds selling to their classmates. Right. I mean, it's just a cultural thing. Right. Isn't that incredible to think about? And so I always say, I've said this, do I want someone to buy what I'm selling? I know the passion. I know the research. I know the investigation. I asked Scott the books. He said, Renita, you got 4 books that arrived while you were gone. I said, I know. I'm going down that avenue of Chinese medicine real quick. I got to read up 4 books on it real quick because I'm just I love it. I love it. I'm like, there's a nugget in there that God wants me to know so I can help people. And so the point is like, I'm thinking to myself the whole time, like, we have got to learn to sell, right? Because people that are saying, I'm scared to sell, I don't know what to say. You're about to learn how to sell from me. And I think I'm a really good salesperson because I don't really call myself a salesperson. I just share things that I believe in. So my conviction is there, right, guys? My desire is there. And when it pours out of my mouth, it's really easy to believe because it's true. It's just, you're just getting what I believe. And I always tell people, do you want them to buy your product, the LifeWave patches with David Schmidt, knowing his heart, knowing his genius, right? Do you want someone to buy that patch, or do you want them to go buy something else stupid that came into the marketplace 3 months ago that's going to be gone in a month? That doesn't even work, but there's some hot woman in a bikini selling it. We got to be careful with marketing because sex sells, right? And so sometimes these hot women in bikinis are selling these products and they're crap, right? So do I want somebody, the truth goes, yeah. I said, do I want someone to buy my product, knowing what I know? Do you want someone to buy your product, knowing what you know about David Schmidt, his authenticity, his love for the Lord, his commitment to health and healing and reversing disease? Do you want someone to buy our product, or do you want them to buy some other floozies product. Okay. I wanted to buy our product. You know why? Because I know it works and I believe in it. So if you really know that, then we've got to get very, very good at selling. We got to get very good at selling that product, right? Because I'm telling you, they're going to buy something. In the marketplace, it's inundated. People buy things every day. So I always say to Scott, I want him to buy what I'm selling because I've researched it. I know it's the very best. I don't want him to buy the crap stuff. Okay, you guys get what I'm saying? So in the next coming up Wednesdays, you're going to get a whole series of selling. So if you say, I don't even like selling, well, one or two things, you can get on and you can learn to love selling how I'm going to teach you how to do it because it's actually sharing your own beliefs. Or number two, you can get on and say, I do like selling, but I want to fine tune this bad boy and make $1 million and set my family free financially. I need all the skills and tips and tricks I can get. And I'm going to give it all to you. I told Scott, I am literally intaking pages of notes right now, just learning and growing and ready to take your business. Scott and I are ready to take your business to the next level. So if you guys are excited about that, great. So get ready for the next Wednesdays coming up because you are going to learn so much that you're going to be able to take to the bank, literally take to the bank with you because we want you to win. So anything else, Scott?
I don't think so. I mean, Renita, you asked me to share this slide and I feel like it's,
Oh yeah, Scott was going to show this real quick. This is very important. If you haven't sat at your computer and looked at it up until now because you've just been walking and doing other things, just slide up to the computer and let him show you this. This is so good. And he shared with it last night at the athlete meeting, but it's so good. Oh, Scott, you went and got the tax brackets. You added to it. Good job, growth man. Scott's in a growth stage too. Good job.
Yeah. So really quickly, and we're not going to spend a lot of time on this at all, but I just want you to start thinking about this if you haven't, right? And so, I always preface financial education with, I'm not giving you tax advice. I don't have grounds to give you tax advice because I don't know who's on the call, if you're single or married, or how many jobs you have, or if you own other businesses, or, there's a lot of different factors. But if I did have grounds to give you tax advice, I would ask you two questions. First question I would ask about your LifeWave home-based business is, number one, is it your intent to have profit? Yes or no? Number two, are you engaged in consistent business building activities? Those are the only two questions that the IRS needs to know. If you answer yes to those questions, you can write off what I call lifestyle expenses, which are expenses that you already have. Like, you're going to eat, weren't you? You were going to buy some clothes. You have a cell phone. You're going to get in your vehicle and drive. These are lifestyle expenses. These aren't new expenses. And then you have some new expenses as well. So the new expenses are here. But if you answered yes to those questions, we would say, if it's your intent to have profit when you leave your home because you're going to your other job, and you might, if you get audited, they say, well, you can't write off your mileage from your home to your other job. Yeah, when I get to my other job, I'm prospecting people for LifeWave.
Hello.
Wouldn't it be great when I get to my other job at the restaurant or the school or, the golf course or wherever it is that you're working, right? The plant, the blue collar plant, the car dealership, wherever it is. Wouldn't it be great if you met someone and you ask questions like, have you heard about stem cells? Oh my gosh, you're going to love this. I've got a link. I'm going to send it to you. I want you to watch this. I'll call you later tonight. So, you might say, well, I've driven 15,000 miles. And your tax advisor would say, how many of those miles would be attributed to you wanting to have profit when you leave your home? So if I get audited, I'll argue with my, IRS auditor about all of my miles. I mean, when I leave my home, it's my full intention to meet somebody to promote a LifeWave patch because I've partnered with LifeWave. And they're doing $1 billion. And if they end up saying, well, you can't use all the miles, you can only use this percentage, then I apologize and I pay the penalties. But the truth is, if it's truly your intent, and our business is extremely profitable, but it doesn't matter. You don't have to have profit in your first year. In fact, it used to have to, tax advisors used to say, well, you have to have profit by your third year or your fifth year or, whatever it is. And the truth is, it just has to be your intent to have profit. And with LifeWave, you are going to be profitable. So it's not this pie in the sky thing, right? But your mileage. Then we talk about whatever kit you started with. Core, Advanced, Premium. Now, maybe you started with Core. That's your write-off. Maybe you started with Advanced for $535. That's your write-off. You launched your business. That's what got your website. Now, if you're a wholesale customer, you can order as little or as much as you want, always at wholesale price. If you're a brand partner and your goal is to be manager above, you want to be on $200 a month or more. That's $2,400 a year. Now, if you need more than that, you're going to order more for personal use. But the 2 sleeves a month could be your business overhead. That's your non-negotiable business overhead. And we always share, Truett was talking to one of his buddies who's 18 and he said, I want to own a business. Truett, this is what, I'm not going to be an employee. I'm going to own my own business. Right. But he said, I'm not sure I want to join LifeWave because they force you to have that $200 expense per month. And Truett said, so let me get this straight. You want to own a business, but you want to own a business as less than $200 a month in overhead. And True's like, good luck, bro. I mean, if you find it, let me know. That has an upside. That has a big upside. So $2,400. And then your cell phone. Maybe your cell phone's $150 a month for one person, and your tax advisor, after you meet with them and they have Brown State V advice, maybe they say you can write off $100. I mean, I would argue with my, tax advisor. We do our own taxes, but I would argue with my tax advisor about all of my phone. You could say it's personal, but every single prospect in my phone is in my business or I want to be in my business. I've got a LifeWave InTouch app. I'm sending links every day. I'm jumping on Zoom meetings. I mean, this is my #1 tool, so I'm writing it off.
Right.
And then a portion of your meals and a portion of your clothes. So there's a list a mile long of potential home-based business tax deductions. These are only 6.
Right.
And so within 5 minutes, we've identified $22,000 in business tax deductions. So what does that mean to you? I'm not 100% sure. I'm not sure what income tax bracket you're in. So yeah, I did add that over to the right. And so that bracket on the right is for 2024. You're about to file your taxes. Deadline's coming up. And so you could look at this income. Now, if you're married, you're going to look at that right category. And there is different categories. Like you could be married, but filing head of household or filing separately. If you're married and you're filing taxes jointly, you want to look at these categories. So if you're earning between, 94,000 and 201,000, you're in a 22% tax bracket. If you're single and you're earning between 47 and 100,000, you're in a 22% tax bracket. Whatever tax bracket you're in, you're going to multiply that by your business expenses. And that's how much you're actually going to get back when you file your taxes. So like if you work at a restaurant and every single paycheck, you're withholding federal and state income taxes, or in Florida, you don't have to withhold state income taxes. You don't pay state taxes, but most other states you do. So you're going to get back the federal income taxes that you withhold from all those checks. In a 22% tax bracket, you're going to get back $4,851. It only costs you $1,750 for the premium kit and $2,400 a year for a 2-sleeve monthly subscription. That's $4,150 in new expenses. You got back $4,851. Right.
And that's
so
before you made a dime with your LifeWave business.
And we're not even
that's
talking
just the tax benefits of having a home-based business.
Yeah. So you broke even. You broke even before you even started. And so when you look at franchises and small businesses, and the break-even point is 2.5 to 5 years down the road with a 50% chance of failing in the business, you're already broken even the month that you started this business.
Right.
You've already broke even. Now let's talk about building profit. Let's go help people. Let's go share and sell these patches. Let's bless people. Let's find out who wants to change their story, and let's start earning income. Right. And it's such a profitable income because of the lack of expenses, right? Inventory, overhead, employees, all of those things. So Renita wanted me to share that really quick. It's been a long call, but it's been an amazing call, Renita. And I'm so happy that you lead these Wednesday night calls, Renita, because it's really about growing together, right? And surrounding, like you said, surrounding yourself with those people, and you kind of pull each other up or pull each other down. And this group, I'm telling you, is pulling each other up.
That's right.
We're having all sorts of people that never thought a year ago that they could do this, and they're doing it. They're crushing it. They're doing amazing. They're introverts, and they're out there and they're having fun. They're smiling. They're giving compliments. They're sharing patches. They're growing.
Yep. And instead of the word sell, if you don't like the word sell and say, oh, I got to go sell some patches today, what you should say to replace that word with sell is, I got to go bless some lives with some patches today.
And all we need to do,
replace the word sell with bless.
Yeah, watch 15 minutes of testimonies in the morning, and then go out there and sell some patches. And don't be worried about the word sell. Just remember, all those testimonies. I mean, thank God somebody told them about the patch and sold them a sleeve, right?
Hello.
I mean, don't feel bad about selling something that's going to change someone's life and their health.
Right.
People are buying things all day long and selling things all day long. You be confident in what you have is going to help and bless someone.
That's right. Let's just end in prayer. Father God, in the mighty name of Jesus, we just ask for breakthrough over this entire team tonight. Everybody that's still watching, we just ask for breakthrough in their marriages, breakthrough in their families, breakthrough in their finances, breakthrough in their relationships, God. We just ask that you are the God of abundance. You are our Father in heaven. And we believe in you. We give you honor and glory for all of this that's happening. And we believe that you are at the heart of LifeWave with David Schmidt and his beliefs and his foundational, faith that he has. And we're so thankful to be partnered with a company with leadership that loves you, Jesus. And we just ask for breakthrough for everybody on here tonight. I mean, just visualize breakthrough. Imagine a brick wall right now. Look at it, and you're just running through it. And you're breaking through. You're breaking through with your health. You're breaking through with your wealth. You're breaking through with your relationships. You're breaking through any mental barriers that's holding you back from getting out and blessing lives. Lord, we know the very best is yet to come. And like Mikey Hernandez says, who loses if you don't win? It's time for you to win. It's time for everybody on this call to win with their health, win with their finances, win with their adventure and their family, and win with their fun. It is time to have some fun again with these people. Lord, we are just so grateful that you are the God of joy, and that you can bring joy and restore joy in every one of these families and every one of these individuals' lives. And we're just believing and praying that there's going to be breakthrough in their businesses, their LifeWave business. It is going to look drastically different this year than it looked last year. Their lives, their finances are going to look unimaginable in the next year. And we are so thankful that you are the God that goes before us, leads our hearts, gives us the desires of our hearts, and grants the desires of our hearts, Lord. So thank you for giving us those desires tonight as we pen them to paper. Let us focus on you and keep our eyes focused on you and the goal set before us, but know that the very best is yet to come, and it's up to us to get out and share this incredible technology with the world who's so desperately praying for it. We love you, Jesus, and we believe the very best is yet to come, and we give you all the glory for all the freedom that's breaking in everybody's life right now. In your name we pray. Jesus, amen. 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 All right, you guys, God bless you. Tomorrow night is the 8 o'clock meeting. It is not going to be this long. It's going to be a 45-minute meeting. And remember, that is the meeting. And some of you are saying, where are these posted? We used to have standing meetings. And what happened is we had some infiltrators come in that took over the meeting with some filth in the meeting. So we can only post the meetings now the day of the meeting. So if you're wondering why we're not posting it very far in advance, it's just because we've got some, wild happenings. So we're trying to protect our team. And so if you look at it, I will post it tonight. But my advice to you is please don't share it on your Facebook wall. If you could just share it individually on Messenger and text messages, that would be fantastic. Okay. All right. We'll see you tomorrow night at 8 p.m. Central. God bless you guys. Thanks, Scott. Thanks everybody for sharing tonight on your desires. I appreciate you. Lori, Robin, right? Lori, Robin. Who else shared?
Angie.
Oh, yeah. I mean, all these beautiful people that shared, and all of you that shared on the chat. Thank you so much for sharing and on the chat. And keep those front and center. Put them on your fridge. Put them on your bathroom mirror. Thanks, Angela. We appreciate you guys. God bless. Have a great night, everybody. Bye.
Thank you, Renita.
Thanks.